Welcome, dear viewers, to our latest video. Today, we're taking a wild and comical ride through Zero Kara Hajimaru Isekai Saikatsu. So buckle up, because we've a lot to cover this emotional roller coaster of an anime. Ready, set, go! Let's kick things off with our protagonist, Subaru Natsuki. Subaru is your typical NET, no employment, education, or training. After a quick trip to the convenience store, he's suddenly transported to a magical world. Because who hasn't wished for that, right? Welcome to the kingdom of Lagunica, a place where everything is just peachy. Just kidding! Subaru quickly learns that this world is filled with danger, magic, and royal selection processes that would make even the bachelor blush. And let's not forget the witch cult. Subaru is riding high, thinking he's about to become the magical lord of the land when life gives him a big ol' reality check. Turns out, he's got no special skills, can't read the local lingo, is flat broke, and even gets roughed up by some feisty demi-human ladies. Frustrated, Subaru storms down a narrow alley, cursing the gods who summoned him without any cool powers. All he's got is an old-school Nokia and some supermarket snacks. Suddenly, a trio of shady characters ambushes him, demanding his cash. Good thing he knows a bit of martial arts from Earth. Subaru manages to hold his own until a dude with twin sword sticks shows up. It looks like it's game over for our hero. Facing imminent defeat, Subaru drops to his knees, begging for mercy, only to get trampled by the thieves anyway. Just then, a silver-haired girl chasing a thief herself appears and scares off the baddies with her spirit powers. Subaru wants to thank the girl, but promptly faints. He wakes up to find himself resting on a pair of furry legs. Wait, how did the beautiful girl become so hairy? Looking up, he realizes he's lying on a cat's leg. Determined to repay the girl, Subaru decides to help her find the thief he saw earlier. He introduces himself as Subaru, the dashing and brilliant young man, but she's unimpressed. She reveals her name is Satella and her spirit pet is Puck. They spend half a day searching for the thief without any luck, but along the way, Satella stops to help a lost little girl. Subaru admires her kindness but thinks she should be more cautious. However, he still uses his magic trick to comfort the little girl and reunite her with her mother. They eventually change their strategy, investigating the crime scene first. They go to the Apple store where Satella was robbed, but the owner is still grumpy and unwilling to waste time on those without money. Subaru confidently says he has changed and glances at Satella, only to find out she's also broke. The lost girl from earlier suddenly shows up, revealing she's the shop owner's daughter. The shop owner quizzes his wife about these penniless pals, but when he finds out they saved his daughter, he quickly apologizes. He shares that the thief thereafter is Felt, a well-known figure in the slums, and off they go. The slums are dreary and the locals hostile, while poor Puck struggles to keep up, as he can only stay in his cute form from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. before reverting to the summoning stone. Satella assures Puck she's got protection magic on hand. It's getting late, but the thief is still nowhere to be found. Satella enlists the help of nearby spirits, looking stunning amidst the twinkling lights. The spirits guide them to a pawnshop. Satella isn't thrilled about having to use her cash to get her stolen goods back. Subaru offers to scope out the place first, and all he asks in return is for Satella to hang out with him afterward. Inside, he's awestruck by the range of stolen items, including an Annabella. Suddenly, he discovers the shop owner's brutally murdered body. Panicking, he's about to bolt when a blade pierces his stomach. Satella hears his scream and rushes inside. Barely able to breathe, Subaru urges her to flee, but it's too late, and she's killed right before his eyes. Waking up, Subaru thinks he's in hell, but instead, he's back at the Apple store like nothing ever happened. The shop owner shoos him into the alley where he encounters the same 3 robbers. This time, Subaru quickly takes them down, realizing that his power in this new world is returned by death. And trust me, folks, he dies a lot. Haha. Each time he dies, he's sent back in time to a previous checkpoint. It's not the most glamorous power, but it's what he's got. Rushing to the slum pawn shop, Subaru finds the shop owner, who was dead just a moment ago, alive and well. They chat inside the shop, and while old man Ram might be a drunk, he's got a heart of gold. Subaru introduces him to the magic of French fries, leaving Ram utterly captivated. Ram mentions they don't have the insignia but are expecting a visitor with valuable items soon. That visitor? Felt. Subaru waits at the door until dusk when Felt finally shows up. She indeed has the stolen insignia and proudly presents it to Ram. When Subaru expresses interest, Felt suggests a trade. He offers his phone as a magical device that can store images and time. He snaps a few pics of the old men and young girl, leaving them amazed. Ram suggests it might be the Mattia, a magical item being developed in the capital, worth at least 20 holy coins. Subaru can't believe his luck. Nonetheless, Felt insists they wait for another potential buyer to join the fray. This person turns out to be the one who hired her to snatch the insignia. Enter Elsa, a sultry gray-haired gal with 20 holy coins in hand. But Ram rules that Subaru's Mattia is worth more than 20 coins, giving our young hero the upper hand. Elsa accepts the outcome, but she's curious about Subaru's plans for the insignia. He spills the beans, saying he'll find the rightful owner and return it. That's when Elsa goes from sultry to scary. Felt pushes Subaru aside just in time to avoid Elsa's surprise attack. The wicked woman whips out her sword, and Ram fights back with a massive axe. But she's too quick for old Ram, who loses an arm and eventually his life. Furious, Felt tries to avenge him but ends up sliced in half. Subaru, horrified and on the floor, gets called a coward by Elsa for not fighting back. He throws a punch but suddenly notices a huge hole in his abdomen. Petrified, he watches Elsa admire his cute intestines before blacking out. Waking up, he's back at the Apple store, and time has reset. Spotting the white-haired girl, he yells out, "Satella!" which startles everyone nearby and angers her since Satella is the notorious witch of envy. He insists she told him her name was Satella, but she corrects him, revealing she's actually Amelia, the half-elf with a heart of gold and a candidate for Lugnika's 42nd king. By now, Subaru has found Felt, the little rascal who stole the insignia and led Amelia to think he was her partner in crime. He chases Felt but bumps into the three robbers again. Irritated, he tells them to scram so he can continue his pursuit. However, he's accidentally stabbed in the stomach by one of them and collapses. The story seemingly ends before it truly begins. Subaru finds himself back at the Apple store, pondering whether to sell his Nokia phone to buy an iPhone 15 Pro Max 1TB with Apple Care, for a life of luxury. He thinks about living a carefree, wicked life, but then recalls Amelia's kindness. She helped him in his time of need, and if he does nothing, she will die. After experiencing 3 cycles, Subaru realizes he needs to get the insignia from Felt before she reaches the pawn shop, and all will be well. On his way to the slums, he encounters the robbers once more, wishing the author would just write them out of the story. Using his past experiences, Subaru knows they're scared of guards, so he loudly calls for the police, accusing the robbers of assaulting and inappropriately touching him. Although no one comes to his rescue, the robbers hesitate before drawing their knives. Then, an actual guard shows up. The robbers spot a red-haired dude wielding a dragon claw sword and identify him as a noble knight from the Dragon Kingdom of Lugnica. They skedaddle, leaving their shoes behind as a memento. Subaru appreciates the help of the young man, who's not only easy on the eyes but also super friendly, making Subaru feel like they're instant besties. Before parting ways, Subaru asks Reinhard to give a stunning silvered-haired girl a heads-up to avoid the slum pawnshop because he's got her stuff covered. Subaru inquires about Felt's crib, then dashes there but crashes into someone en route. He tries to say sorry but is horrified to realize it's Elsa. He plays it cool, but flashbacks of her murderous rampage give him the creeps. Elsa picks up on his fear and hostility, recognizing it from his scent. Intrigued but with places to be, Elsa lets Subaru live another day. Quickly, Subaru reaches Felt's pad, which is tiny, crammed, and reeking, making it a less than ideal living situation. Felt, seeing a stranger prowling around her place, whips out a knife and goes on the offensive, furiously slashing and asking Subaru what he wants. He tells her he can't chat if she keeps attacking, especially since he's here to save her. Subaru mentions he's there to trade, and Felt stops her assault, always open for business. Subaru shows off his phone, claiming it's a rare Mattia worth more than 20 silver coins. He wants to buy back the insignia she swiped recently. Felt's skeptical but agrees to hit up Old Man Ram's pawn shop to check out the item before deciding. Subaru's bummed, realizing they'll still end up there. After Ram confirms the phone's value, he urges Felt to hand over the insignia pronto, asking if she wants to miss out on such a sweet deal. But Felt gets suspicious, seeing Subaru's eagerness and thinking the insignia must be worth a lot more than 20 silver coins. She opts to wait for another person to show up, and as she finishes her sentence, the door creaks open, revealing Amelia, who has unexpectedly arrived. Seeing Amelia, Felt freaks out and tries to bolt. Amelia whips out a magic stone and flexes her magical prowess to scare Felt into giving back her insignia. Subaru also advises the young girl to return the item to its rightful owner. Amelia's confused, assuming Subaru was pals with the thief. Suddenly, Subaru spots Elsa's shadow and alerts Amelia to be on guard. This allows Puck to shield Amelia in the nick of time. Elsa grumbles about Felt's incompetence but can't blame her since she's from the slums. Spotting Amelia, Elsa switches gears and decides to off everyone there. Seeing Felt insulted, Subaru jumps to her defense, saying she's working towards a brighter future, unlike a cold-hearted killer like Elsa. So, Subaru's chatting away with Elsa, just trying to buy Puck some time to chuck those pointy magic stones at her like it's a hailstorm. But Elsa's got moves like Jagger and dodges them all. Puck keeps pounding away, but Elsa's like the Energizer Bunny, she keeps going and going. At 5 o'clock, Puck's gotta call it quits and pulls out the big guns, a gigantic magic stone attack. The smoke clears, and Elsa's still standing there, grinning like she's on candid camera. Puck pieces out, telling Amelia to watch her back and summon him if things get hairy. Amelia's like, "I got this, no sweat." Amelia's looking beat, but she puts up her magical defenses only to get swamped. She gets booted into a cabinet and snoozes. Now it's down to the final three. Old Man Ram takes a swing with his axe, but Elsa's just too much for him. Felt swoops in for the save, keeping Ram's arm attached. Elsa's ticked off and slowly stalks Felt. Subaru's desperate to hit the rewind button, but his death flashbacks just won't let him. With Felt in a pickle, he shoves her to safety. Amelia, back in action, lobs more magic stones at Elsa as they tussle. Subaru tells Felt to hit the road, saying it's his grown-up duty to keep her safe. She takes off, a bit miffed. Subaru goes all Rocky Balboa on Elsa, but ends up looking like he lost a fight with a lawnmower. Amelia can't jump into close combat, and she has one last trick that would wipe everyone out. Just when Elsa snags Subaru, the roof comes tumbling down, and Reinhard swoops in like a superhero. Felt had run into him earlier, sobbing for help, so he follows her back. Reinhard sizes up Elsa, seeing her gray hair and that funky sword from up north. He's sure she's the infamous Belly Hunter from the capital. Elsa recognizes him too, as the head honcho of the Royal Knights, and she's jazzed for the showdown. He tells Subaru and Amelia to patch up the wounded while he tames the beast. Reinhard swats Elsa away like she's a pesky fly, but she compliments him for being tougher than the tabloids say. She wonders if he's not taking her seriously with that bargain bin sword. He just laughs and says it'll do the job. Reinhard whips out his family sword technique, and the whole place goes kaboom. Subaru thinks this guy's more of a monster than a monster wrangler. After the smoke clears, Amelia's all buddy-buddy with Subaru and forgives Felt for swiping her insignia. Out of nowhere, Elsa pops up from the wreckage, showing off her mad survival skills. Subaru's quick on the draw, protecting Amelia with a club and his own body. Elsa quickly escapes with her wounded body. Subaru's shocked but relieved he dodged Elsa's gut-busting move. When he checks his belly, though, he's got a rip and face plants. Waking up, he's in a swanky castle, not back at the Apple store. Subaru's wandering around this fancy schmancy castle. First up, he bumps into Petty, a human-looking spirit who's 400 years old. She doesn't like his cheeky attitude, so she zaps him good. Next thing he knows, he wakes up with two gorgeous maids. Ram and Remington talk about an upgrade. Now, the big cheese of the place is Roa, who owns the castle and runs the whole neighborhood. They all sit down for a bite and some chit-chat. Turns out, Amelia's in the running for the crown, and the stolen insignia was her ticket. Roa's the one backing her. To say thanks for saving her life, Roa offers to grant Subaru a wish. Subaru, being a clueless, fun-loving guy, asks to be the castle's butler. First order of business, getting him a snazzy new outfit. But the standard butler getup doesn't fit our short-statured hero. Rem steps in and whips up a custom one instead. Life goes on, all peaceful like the nightmare they lived through never happened. Subaru's gung-ho about being the best butler ever, but he's swamped with chores. Still, he makes friends with the villagers and even scores a late-night rendezvous with Amelia. Subaru's thinking, man, life is good! Little does he know, the author's got other plans. Subaru goes to bed after a long day, only to wake up and find he's back in time. His pals don't remember him, and he's clueless about why he died. He decides to stay calm, be there for Amelia, and face the night. But if everything went as planned, where's the fun in that? So Subaru asks to be a butler again, but this time, no outfit tryouts or castle tours from Ram. He runs into Roa in the bathroom, who says he can count on Ram and Rem if things get tough. Later, Ram teaches Subaru to read and write, not cause she's nice, but because it'd be a pain if he couldn't. Next day, Subaru gets new threads from Rem, and he's stoked. But he wonders why the sisters only have one set of clothes each. He's sure they'd look fab in different outfits. Rem's confused why Subaru, a stranger, cares about her clothes, but she thinks the uniform suits her job just fine. From then on, Rem can't stop staring at Subaru. Ram thinks it's cause of his messy hair, and Rem agrees. Ram tells her to give him a haircut, even suggesting a style like a famous pop singer. With Rem's skills, Subaru would look as slick as a BTS member. But when Rem goes to the bathroom, she's not there to cut his hair. Instead, she's sorry for dissing him, cause even though he's a butler, he's Amelia's hero and outranks her. So Subaru's like, I'll let it slide if you make my hair all nice and silky. He tries to flirt with her, but she just ain't budging. But hey, at least they're getting friendlier now. They go shopping in a nearby village, where the kids love Subaru, but the dogs? Not so much. He sees a field of flowers and thinks it'd be perfect for a date with Amelia. On the way back, Rem can't stop talking about her amazing sis. Subaru jokes that she's obsessed, like some kind of demon fangirl. So you like demons? She asks. He says demons wouldn't mess with him, they just laugh at his failures. That gets a rare smile out of Rem, and Subaru's left speechless. That night, he convinces Amelia to join him for a flower-filled date. Her glowing smile helps him power through, but things get tough. At midnight, he's hit with dizziness and nausea, feeling like he's about to croak. He stumbles outside for help, only to get attacked. Waking up, he sees his severed arm just hanging there, blood everywhere. Next thing he knows, he's back at the beginning of the day. His second death was even worse, but now he's got a clue. Someone's sneaking into the castle and attacking. He heard chains before he bit the dust. The attacker will strike again on the fourth night. If he spills the beans, they might think he's crazy or the guilty one. He's gotta gather enough proof to catch the baddie and stay alive. For the third time, Subaru asks the big boss for a guest pass, so he can eat and sleep without any strings attached. The others give him the side-eye for that. His plan ain't going so smooth, since he can't hang with the maid sisters like before. They're pretty, but hard to talk to. So, he goes to Petty, asking if there's any magic to knock someone out and kill him painlessly. She's not exactly his biggest fan, but she explains that it's more like a curse than magic, usually done by witches. There's a faster way than a curse, draining all the mana in the castle. Only Beatrice and Puck could pull that off. Subaru's like, oh man, is she the killer? Nah, if she wanted him dead, she could have done it any time. Plus, she healed him even though he accused her of stealing Amelia's gig. Beatrice tells him Amelia ain't good enough to heal his fatal boo-boos and wonders why she even has to explain this before kicking him out. At night, Ram brings tea for Subaru and just plops down on his bed like it's no big deal. She's surprised he's been studying so hard, thinking he was just mooching off his guest status. Subaru says he read the fairy tales she gave him and dreams of turning stories from his world into books, like The Crying Red Demon. The title gets Ram thinking, so he tells her about two buddies, the Red Demon and the Blue Demon. The Red Demon loves humans but keeps getting rejected. The Blue Demon helps him out by causing chaos in the village, then letting the Red Demon save the day and win over the villagers. After that, the Blue Demon disappears. The Red Demon searches for his friend's house in the forest, only to find a locked door with a letter. The Blue Demon left to keep the Red Demon from being seen as a bad guy. Ram thinks that the Red Demon, Blue Demon, and villagers are all fools. The Red Demon is selfish for being happy with the Blue Demon's sacrifice. If he wants to be friends with humans, he should cut off his horns and live with them before the Blue Demon sacrifices himself. On day 4, Subaru's like, "I'm outta here, off to the capital." Amelia gets all worried, and Roa gives him a bag of gold. Subaru thanks everyone, compliments the sisters' cooking and cleaning, making them even more suspicious. As soon as they're back inside, he sneaks off to a hill with a good view of Amelia's room, armed with a secret kitchen knife. He's just waiting for the attacker when, surprise, they sneak up on him and toss him down the hill. Subaru gets away by grabbing the chain and yanking the attacker, who turns out to be Remington. He runs, wondering why she's after him. His leg gets chopped off in a grassy field, and Rem comes up to him, casting a healing spell. She wants to question him before he kicks the bucket. She inquires about who sent him and his intentions. When he says he's doing everything for Amelia, she keeps attacking cause that ain't the answer she's looking for. Subaru's got the witch's stink all over him, which has caused her sister immense pain. Heartbroken, he cries a river, because every time the timeline resets, he's the only one left with memories of the past. Before he can finish speaking, he is killed and awakens on the familiar bed. So there's Subaru, scared out of his wits when he sees Remington. He shoos both maids out of the room like he's swatting flies. In comes Amelia, all concerned, asking what's up. And it hits Subaru like a ton of bricks. Maybe he should have asked Amelia for help instead of trying to be a one-man show. He's just about to confess his many deaths when bam! Time freezes like an ice cube tray in a freezer. Dark smoke fills the room like a fog machine gone haywire, and this creepy hand shows up, trying to squeeze Subaru's heart like it's a stress ball. He's scared out of his mind, gasping for breath, and turns out, he can't even share his powers with anyone. Talk about a bummer. Later, Beatrice shows up, and Puck and Amelia are all suspicious like she's some kind of criminal. She takes a good look at Subaru, who's got this goofy expression and smells worse than a witch's gym socks. She sees he's fine and takes off. But Subaru's like, "Hold up, Beatrice! If you feel even a teeny bit guilty, how about you do me a solid?" He asks for her protection on the dreaded 4th day. Reluctantly, she agrees. That night, Subaru has nightmares that could give horror movies a run for their money. He wakes up in the Forbidden Library with Beatrice, who's ready to play bodyguard. They're both reading books like they're competing in a speed reading contest when suddenly Petty hears someone calling her. Subaru freaks out, thinking he's about to lose his security detail, but Petty's like, "Chill, dude. No trouble if you stay put." Eventually, Subaru works up the nerve to leave the room. The sun's up, and he's survived the terrifying 4th day. He runs into Amelia, eager to share his plans, but she leads him to a room where Ram's crying her eyes out over Rem's lifeless body. Turns out, Rem died from a curse. Subaru's in shock, wondering if she wasn't the culprit after all. Ram catches on to his insider knowledge and tries to force a confession with magic, but Beatrice swoops in to save the day. She had vowed to protect Subaru for the entire day. Subaru keeps playing dumb and makes a break for it, leaving the castle behind. Ram's furious and breaks down the door to chase him. Subaru reaches the field where he died before, wondering if dying now could change things. He considers jumping off a cliff to reset time but is too scared of dying. Beatrice appears behind him, reminding him she promised to protect him for the day, so if he has to die, do it later to ease her guilt. What's done is done. She offers to help him leave the territory, but when he takes her hand, memories of Ram and Rem's kindness flood back. They cared for him so much, how could he abandon them? He doesn't want to hear Ram's desperate cries either. His days with them were happy. Subaru steels himself, and just as an enraged Ram catches up, he yells his love for everyone and jumps off the cliff. There's Subaru, back at square one, thrilled to see the twin sisters alive and kickin'. He grabs their hands, but they're like, "Whoa, buddy, what's with the creep vibes?" He decides to work at the castle and turns out to be a pro butler. Guess those 4 past lives paid off. His new game plan: win everyone's trust so they won't suspect him, and then catch the curse-happy witch. While chatting with Puck in the garden, he learns he's got a dark attribute, perfect for some beginner-level magic tricks. Excited, he takes on Puck as his kitty mentor but knows he shouldn't push himself too hard. Well, he pushes himself too hard. His magic gate goes haywire, releasing all his mana and knocking him out. He's made some progress with the maid sisters, so now it's time to deal with the witch. He asks Beatrice about breaking the curse, but she's all Ice Queen, saying she can't undo it once it's activated. She then sniffs him and scolds him for reeking of the Witch of Envy. Subaru's puzzled, wondering why he's got that scent and who this witch is. Beatrice fills him in on the Witch of Envy, Satella, who guzzled down the blood of the 7 deadly sins and wrecked half the continent 400 years ago. She's got white hair and a half-elf look, reminding Subaru of his first encounter with Amelia. He asks Petty about using the Witch of Envy's name, and she's like, "You'd have to be nuts." The next day, Subaru's all energetic, goofing around with Puck and Amelia before working with the maid sisters. As he leaves, Puck spills the beans to Amelia about Subaru's real situation. Turns out he's been running himself ragged, forcing himself to laugh, chat, and work while feeling super uneasy. To maintain a friendly demeanor with everyone, he endures his discomfort and keeps smiling. Subaru steps out of the bathroom and finds Amelia waiting for him. She takes him to the living room, plops down, and says, "Alright, today's your lucky day. You can rest your head on my lap." Hearing that, Subaru just loses it, sobbing his eyes out and confessing his fears. Eventually, he snoozes off. Rem peeks in, sees what's happening, and thinks, "Maybe I'll just leave them be." Before leaving, Amelia tells Rem that Subaru's a good guy at heart. The next day, Subaru's feeling pretty sheepish about crying all over a girl's lap. Beatrice sighs and wants to punch him, but he tries to smooth things over. He wants to learn how to dodge the curse, since he knows Beatrice can detect and neutralize it. To activate the curse, one needs to make direct contact with the target. He figures out he got cursed from the villagers and that Rem became the target in his 3rd revival. Subaru casually invites Rem to go shopping with him in the village, and Ram joins in too. In the village, Subaru sets up games with the locals to get the cursed suspects to touch him. The only one left is a dog that bit him before, but now it seems tame, until it bites him again, of course. Back at the castle, they find Roa preparing to leave, a first, and a sign of the butterfly effect. Subaru goes to Beatrice's room and tells her he's cursed. She's skeptical at first but soon realizes he's telling the truth. Knowing that Puck would be devastated if Subaru dies, she agrees to help him. Black smoke comes from the dog bite, revealing the curse's source. Subaru scoops up Beatrice, thanks her, and runs off to find the maid sisters. He tells them the dog's bite can curse people, putting the kids at risk. Ram convinces Rem to go with Subaru while she stays behind to protect the castle. In the village, they find the kids missing and the barrier broken, letting monsters in. Following the kids' tracks, they find them weak but alive on a hill. Rem can't undo the curse but suggests her sister might help. She plans to use healing magic on the kids and take them back to the village. One girl wakes up and tells Subaru another friend was captured. He remembers a blue-haired girl and insists on going after her, even though Rem tries to stop him. He knows Rem's suspicious of him, but he promises to come back and talk it out with her until they're both speechless. Subaru finds the captured girl, but he's got monsters on his tail. He uses his coat as a makeshift shield, tossing one of the creatures onto some sharp branches. But with hundreds of red eyes staring him down, he thinks he's a goner. Rem shows up just in time, and though she's tiny, she's a powerhouse. They battle the monsters but can't seem to thin their ranks, so they decide to make a run for it. Rem holds off the monsters while Subaru dashes to safety with the kid, but he just can't leave her behind. As a landslide starts, Rem pushes Subaru out of harm's way and gets buried herself. But she's not done yet. She unleashes her inner demon, laughing maniacally as she fights the monsters. Their numbers still don't dwindle, so Subaru steps in, pushing Rem to safety and sacrificing himself. His courage snaps Rem back to her senses, and she pleads with him not to die. When Subaru wakes up, he's in a strange place but alive, thanks to Puck, Amelia, and Rem. Rem even gives him a warm, freshly cooked potato as a thank you. Things seem to be going well until Beatrice drops a bombshell on Subaru. He's going to die in half a day. Turns out, he's got a whole mess of curses that she can't remove. His only shot at survival is defeating the one who cursed him, but the forest is crawling with monsters. Subaru learns that Rem went into the forest alone to fight the monsters, and Rem overhears their conversation, deciding to join her sister. Subaru wants to go too, recalling his promise to chit-chat with Rem. However, when he tries to act, Rem criticizes the discrepancy between his words and actions. They head into the forest, and Rem shows off her demon powers, cutting down monsters left and right. Subaru asks about her missing horn, and she says it broke during a fight. He realizes that mentioning horns to a demon might be a touchy subject. Rem explains that demons usually have 2 horns, but twins like her and Rem only have 1. Most demon twins are killed at birth, but they were lucky. Using their horns can enhance a demon's power, but overusing them can be dangerous, though, and they need to find Rem before she gets hurt. Subaru hatches a plan to attract the monsters, but it only sort of works. Rem exhausts her magic and they both end up falling off a cliff. She uses the last of her strength to save them with a spell before passing out. They are surrounded by monsters, and all of Subaru's friends are out for the count. Just when things look grim, Rem swoops in from above, but she's gone full demon mode and is attacking everyone, even her pals. Subaru tries to jog her memory with some shared moments, but she's not budging. Rem wakes up and tells him to hit the horn that's causing all the trouble. Easier said than done, right? Subaru gets a wild idea and chucks Rem at Rem, who catches her sister just in time. He uses the distraction to swing his sword at the horn. Rem has a flashback to when she and Rem were almost killed as babies, but Rem's incredible power saved them both. As a prodigy with immense magical abilities, Rem greatly benefited the village, earning their constant praise. If one horn possessed such power, what could 2 achieve? Feeling the pressure of her sister's success, Rem trains in secret but still feels inadequate. Yet, Rem is always loving and supportive of her sister. When their village is attacked by the witch cult, Rem loses her horn in order to save Rem, who is left with a massive guilt complex. She vows to do everything possible for Rem and protect her. Waking up, Rem finds herself being carried by Subaru and feels guilty again. She tells him he shouldn't have saved her, but he smacks some sense into her, saying they need to work together to solve their problems. Subaru decides he's gonna be the bait. This lets Rem carry Rem to safety. But Rem's not having it. She refuses to leave without him. Meanwhile, that witch's dog has leveled up and become huge. Subaru tries a smoke screen technique Puck taught him, stabs the monster, but it's still going strong. Just when he thinks he's a goner, Roa shows up and sends the dog packing. Rem, seeing that Subaru's safe, gives him a big ol' hug, relieved they're both alive. Waking up later, Subaru finds Rem holding his hand, worried about him. They have a heart-to-heart, and he tells her she's not just her sister's stand-in. She's kind, caring, and, let's be real, a bit more voluptuous. Furthermore, he lives here because of Rem, not Ram. Rem laughs for the first time, looking absolutely stunning. A few days pass, and a royal emissary comes to the castle to talk selection stuff. Subaru chats with the carriage driver and shares some of Ram's exclusive tea. Little does he know, the driver is actually a demonic swordsman from the Astria family. The driver tells the emissary that Subaru's eyes look like he's seen death a few times over. After persistent persuasion, Amelia agrees to let Subaru go to the capital with her, but they've gotta hold hands the whole time. She knows he's a trouble magnet. At the royal castle, they meet this fancy purple-haired guy. Subaru's not a fan, especially when the guy kisses Amelia's hand. She asks Subaru to wait outside while she goes in with Mr. Purple. While waiting and watching dinosaurs, Subaru sees some goons dragging a girl into a dark alley. He tries to help but gets his butt kicked by the same bandits he ran into before. Wondering if the capital is only these three jerks, he drops Reinhard's name to scare them off. The girl he saved? Not impressed. Says she could have handled it herself. Tough crowd. After all that, Amelia and this Iron Knight guy show up. Turns out, the girl they found is Balian, a royal contender, and Amelia seems pretty intimidated. Back home, Amelia says she's going to the palace alone, and Subaru's heart just drops. He's all about being her sidekick, right? Rem helps him sneak out, and they head to the palace where Balian lets him in for some laughs. Amelia's shocked to see him there, and the ceremony kicks off with 4 candidates, until Reinhard brings in a 5th, the little thief from earlier, all dolled up in a princess dress. Now, everyone's underestimating Amelia, and they're not too thrilled about Felt either, what with her being a street rat and all. Subaru gets fired up, demanding an apology for Amelia, but she's like, "Cool it, buddy." Subaru then declares himself her knight, but Mr. Purple Hair isn't having it, saying Subaru's disrespecting the real knights. As much as he wants to argue, Subaru knows the guy's got a point. Amelia sends him away, and the ceremony goes on, with Old Man Ram showing up to save Felt, but he gets caught too. To save Old Man Ram, Felt agrees with Reinhard to participate, promising to take out all the nobles and knights if she wins, to make the country better. Outside, Subaru is still sulking when Julius challenges him to a duel, all to show Subaru what knights are really about. Amelia hears about it, thinks they should stop it, but this girl Anastasia's like, "Nah, let him lose." And yeah, Subaru gets hooped. Amelia takes him back to the mansion, scolding him for messing everything up. Subaru insists he did it for her, but she's not buying it. Amelia heads back to the castle while Subaru stays in the capital to recover. He ends up at the mansion of a royal candidate, Crush Karsten. He trains every day with Butler Wilhelm to get his revenge. Little does he know, Julius set up the duel to save him from even worse trouble. Julius lost points, but he wanted to stick to his own sense of justice. And hey, before I forget to mention, turns out, this cute person isn't a girl after all. Nope. It's a feminine cat boy named Ferris, rocking those healing powers. I mean, talk about a surprise, am I right? Subaru's been all doom and gloom lately, and Rem's getting worried. She thinks a little trip to town might cheer him up. But plot twist! While they're out, Subaru finds out the kingdom's folks can't stand Amelia and don't want her wearing the crown. Subaru tries to stand up for her, but he just ends up causing a ruckus in the streets. Good news though, Crush has a heart-to-heart with Subaru over a couple of cold ones, helping him see that he's got a special role in Amelia's quest. Fast forward a bit, Rem gets a feeling her sister Ram's in trouble, and that means Amelia and everyone else at the mansion could be in danger too. Crush saw this coming when the Duchess of Roswell backed Amelia for queen. Subaru wants to rush back to the castle, but Crush and Ferris warn him it's a bad idea. Plus, they've got to avoid the White Whale's fog, so the trip takes 2 days. Subaru's mind is racing, thinking about Amelia, and he wants to go non-stop, but their dragon needs a break. That night, Rem gives him some comfort and healing magic, and she believes Subaru can help Amelia, even if he's a bit clumsy sometimes. The next day, Rem ditches Subaru at the inn, thinking he'll be safer there. But of course, Subaru's not having it, and he chases after her. When he gets to the village, though, he finds a gruesome scene. The witch cult has killed everyone, trying to bring back the Witch of Endi, Satella, and get their hands on Amelia. Subaru's frantic, searching for Rem, but he finds her lifeless in the courtyard. It's obvious there was a huge battle, and she fought to the bitter end. Inside, he finds more gruesome scenes: dead kids, dead Ram hugging a child, and a trail of blood leading to an ice-covered room. Then bam! Subaru's frozen and shatters into pieces. But when he wakes up, he's back in time, in the street with Rem during their day out. Overcome with emotion, he hugs her tight, leaving her totally surprised. Subaru's brought back to the mansion, and he's a total mess. Ferris takes one look at him and says, "Nope, this guy's beyond fixing." Nobody knows what's wrong, but there's no curse in sight. Rem gets the bright idea to take him back to Roa Castle. Maybe some familiar faces will snap him out of it. Ferris and Crush can't help but notice Rem's got it bad for Subaru. Talk about devotion. As they travel for 2 days, Rem's nursing Subaru like a champ, hoping to see the awesome guy she knew before. But the road to the mansion is super quiet, and out of nowhere, Rem feels a stabbing pain in her chest. Something's happened to Ram. Right on cue, the witch cult attacks their ride. Rem goes full demon mode to fend them off, disgusted by the witch cult who have taken her sister's horn and now want to take the special person she wants to protect. Rem tries to take them all out, but there are just too many, and they fight dirty. Meanwhile, Subaru gets carted off and wakes up in a cave, face to face with one creepy dude. This guy, Conti, is the witch cult's big boss and thinks Subaru is one of them. He sniffs the witch's scent on Subaru, but wonders why Subaru doesn't have the gospel. Subaru's not saying a word, so Conti gets up close and personal with a big ol' lick to the face. Now, whether it's the awful memories or the fact that Conti's mouth is a bacteria party, Subaru can't help but cry out in agony. Just in the nick of time, Rem bursts in, all beat up but still ready to protect her guy. Conti's touched by her love and decides to return the favor, with torture. He magically strings her up and starts working her over, while Subaru watches helplessly, his heart breaking as his girl is brutally beaten. He swears he'll get Conti for this, but his mix of rage and powerlessness just has the villain rolling on the floor laughing. After Conti takes off, Ram drags herself over to free Subaru, using her dying breath to tell him to live. Subaru heads back to the mansion in a blizzard and finds everyone dead again. Out back, Puck's lost it after Amelia's death and lops off Subaru's head. In his second go-round, Subaru gets a grip and starts looking for allies. First up, Crush. But things don't go so smoothly. She's got no reason to help Amelia, and Subaru's witch cult intel is suspiciously just a little too detailed. Feeling rejected, Subaru panics, picturing the gruesome fate awaiting his pals. He keeps searching for help, but with Reinhard out of town, he's left with just Priscilla. Subaru spills the beans about the witch cult and the danger to the people, but she just cackles, saying she'd be thrilled if Amelia kicked the bucket. Impressed by his loyalty, she offers him a shot. If he gets on his knees and licks her feet, she might change her mind. Desperate, he goes for it, but she boots him away, calling him not honorable, but disgusting, like a dog or a greedy pig. Priscilla swears that even if she takes down the witch cult, she'll wipe out human trash like him too. Humiliated, Subaru roams the streets and runs into royal candidate Anastasia, who invites him for a drink. Seeing an opening, he shares his story and asks for her help. She hands him her signature, which he can use to rent a dragon carriage. But you know what they say about easy solutions, they're often trouble in disguise. Under her petite exterior, Anastasia's got the wits of a shrewd merchant with a sixth sense for sniffing out info. She dupes Subaru into spilling the beans about Crush's household, and her signature turns out to be her way of toying with him. Realizing her true motives, he's fuming and itching to teach her a lesson, but she cools him down, warning him that the whole bar is filled with her loyal followers and that he better watch his step. Before he leaves, Anastasia dishes out some advice. Negotiations are all about understanding the other party's needs, not just yapping about what he wants. Armed with this knowledge, Subaru decides to head back to the mansion with Remington. If they can't fight, they'll whisk Amelia and Ram to safety. On their way, they bump into a dragon carriage convoy, and Subaru hatches a plan. He suggests they commandeer all the carriages to the Roa Castle to transport the folks there, promising that cash won't be an issue. Just when they think they've dodged the witch cult showdown, disaster strikes. The convoy gets lost in the fog and comes under attack by the white whale. Despite its innocent-looking eyes, it wipes out their ranks in no time. Soon, only Subaru's carriage is left. Rem opts to stay behind and battle the beast, giving Subaru a chance to flee. Naturally, he disagrees, but she knocks him out and takes off. When Subaru comes to, he's near the castle, desperate to save her, but the driver stops him. The creature has slaughtered a whole generation of knights and the holy sword, so going back would be suicide. But Rem isn't much stronger, so the driver consoles Subaru, telling him not to squander her sacrifice. Still, they can't shake the fog. As the white whale closes in, Subaru realizes that the monster's drawn to his witch stench. He let it hear and sealed Rem's fate. Knowing the truth, the driver freaks out, shoves Subaru off the carriage, and makes a break for it. Subaru's nasty fall leaves him wounded and weeping, but he musters all his strength to run, terrified that death is hot on his heels. As the sun peeks out, Subaru stumbles into the Roa domain, where the village kids greet him, alive and worried. Relieved, he passes out. They whisk him back to the mansion where Ram nurses him back to health. She wonders where he's been with all those nasty injuries. Seeing her, Subaru's guilt consumes him, and he apologizes for not saving Remington. But to his shock, Ram has no clue who Rem is. He dashes to Rem's room, but her stuff is gone. Ram thinks he's delusional and tells him to rest up. But he can't let it slide, so he makes a beeline for Amelia's room to urge her to leave. She's baffled, and his fear and panic spiral. If she just heeds his warning, all will be well, but if not, doom and gloom await. He can't save a single soul, not even himself. Subaru's face is a picture of pain. Rem brought him here, but now nobody remembers her. He's ready to spill the beans, even if it's the death of him. As he admits he can come back from the dead, dark smoke and an invisible hand materialize but vanish just as fast. However, Amelia keels over, her heart ripped out. This isn't what he wanted. Distraught, Subaru pleads with Beatrice to off him, but she can't do it. If he wants to die, he shouldn't do it in front of her. They're zapped to a forest, where Subaru goes berserk, begging anyone to end his life pronto. The witch cult and Conti show up out of the blue. Conti's shocked that Subaru killed Amelia before he could, thinking he's a loyal follower. Conti tries to snatch Amelia's body, but Subaru blocks him. Amazed that someone saw his invisible hand, Conti decides that person must die. But before he strikes, he'll destroy Amelia's body to hear Subaru's final wail. Just then, blue crystals rain down from the sky. It's Puck, out for revenge. Conti snickers at the puny spirit, but his laughter is short-lived. Conti's invisible hands try to crush Puck, but Puck morphs into a gigantic beast, boasting that it'd take half of Satella's power to beat him. Puck despises the witch cult, which dares to challenge an ancient spirit like him. After wiping out the witches, Puck confronts Subaru, accusing him of 3 cardinal sins, breaking his promise to Amelia, defying her orders, and killing her. Subaru is frozen and shattered once more, only to turn back time. Spotting Subaru's haggard face, Rem rests her hand on his cheek, and he grabs it as they escape the city to the roof of an old house. With all that's transpired, Subaru decides to flee west with Rem. Rem thinks he wants to find help for Amelia in another country, but he denies it. He says he's useless, and his efforts only bring death. They don't have much time. He wants to buy a cozy home and live happily with Remington. If he can see her smile, life will be perfect. Subaru begs Rem to pick him, but she says no. He dreams of a bright future in a new land where he gets a job, they buy a house, and she's a whiz in the kitchen. They raise cute, cheeky kids and live happily ever after, growing old together. Rem wants to be the first to go, surrounded by Subaru and their children, leaving this world in peace. But she knows if they run away, Subaru's the one who'll end up regretting it, since he's not the type to throw in the towel easily. Subaru snaps back, labeling himself useless and empty. What would Rem know about him to be so darn confident? He can't even stand himself. But Rem points out a bunch of Subaru's redeeming qualities. He's always got others on his mind. She loves how he checks if she's keeping pace when they walk together, and her heart thawed after his help on that fiery night. Slowly but surely, Rem's kind words reach him. She may not know the pain he's endured, but she believes in him as a fantastic person who gives it his all, and she loves him. Yet, Subaru replies, "I love Amelia and want to see her smile, even if she ditches me. I'll save her and everyone else." Talk about a letdown for Rem, who's put her life on the line for him time after time. But even after being turned down, Rem still backs Subaru and assists him in saving the one he adores. Subaru swings by Crush Mansion again for some help, but this go-round he's ready, courtesy of Anastasia's advice. To level the playing field, Crush will aid Amelia and get a slice of Roa's territory and a swanky gemstone mine in return, as well as intel on the white whale's whereabouts. At the mere mention of that name, Butler Duhan gets all fired up. Subaru spills the beans that he knew Crush wanted to wipe out the white whale since the carriages coming and going from the mansion were all decked out with weapons and armor. Crush is content with this proposal, particularly since her special vision confirms Subaru's not fibbing. Just then, Anastasia waltzes into the meeting room, invited by Remington. The white whale is a do-or-die situation for merchants, so Anastasia decides to join the fray this time too. The negotiation sails so smoothly that Subaru breathes a sigh of relief. Butler Duhan is also super grateful to him and introduces himself as Dehenvan Adara. His wife is the former Holy Sword, Thexivan Adara, and Subaru has given him the opportunity to avenge her death. Tomorrow night, the white whale will show up near the Go Tree, as per Subaru's intel, so all soldiers scurry to get ready. Noticing Subaru's concern, Ferris points out the beaming faces of the soldiers. Nobody's griping. Defeating the white whale is their shared dream, as well as Duhan's, who's spent his life hunting it down since it killed his wife. Subaru is taken aback that even Crush joins the battle directly. She's not just a stay-at-home leader who barks orders, right? Particularly in this fight, loads of seasoned and mighty veterans take part, holding grudges against the white whale. In front of everyone, Crush announces that today will mark the end of the white whale, a whole 400 years after it was created by Satella. After half a day's march, they reach the Go Tree, ready for action. Subaru's plan is to use himself as bait, drawing the whale out front while the army strikes from behind. He's also set an alarm for the whale's arrival. Before the showdown, Subaru and Duhan powwow about the strategy. Rem spots the love in Duhan's eyes for his wife. Duhan confesses that he cherished her more than anyone. She was a flower-loving lady who was the holy sword, so he vowed to take her sword and safeguard her memory under its blade. With Subaru's help, he believes he can slay the beast that stole his love. As the clock ticks down, everyone's on high alert, and silence envelopes the area. Out of the blue, the alarm rings. The white whale has arrived. As chaos ensues, Subaru and Rem dart forward, acting as bait. Crush commands the whole army to follow these brave souls into battle, and flares light up the sky, revealing the colossal and hideous white whale that catches even Subaru off guard. The beast zeroes in on Subaru like an overzealous neighborhood dog. But just as it's about to gulp down Rem and Subaru, Crush swoops in and slashes its eye with her wind sword, a legendary weapon with a long history of victories. An electric stun attack further aggravates the whale. The army scatters, leaving only Duhan to face the monster head-on. He demonstrates his prowess as the mightiest swordsman by piercing and carving up the whale from nose to tail. The white whale shrieks in agony as the merchant army's beast warriors join the fray, each delivering a powerful strike. After enduring an hour-long beating, the creature is finally brought down by a blast of fire magic. Subaru celebrates the victory, but the whale seems unfazed. Rem explains it's due to its thick, magical skin. The army had planned for this, using the first round to gauge the whale's resilience. In round 2, they'll give their all to wear it down. Duhan furiously attacks the whale, driven by his hatred. He blinds the beast, causing it to howl in pain. Suddenly, its remaining eye turns red, and its body releases a fog through numerous holes. The flares are rendered useless, and Crush orders a retreat as many soldiers fall victim to the fog, their identities lost forever. Those targeted by the whale's fog suffer the same fate as Rem once did, erased from memory. To make matters worse, the whale's high-pitched cries induce madness in the soldiers, causing them to hurt themselves. Facing imminent doom, Subaru suggests that Ferris heal the troops while he and Rem draw the whale away. They sprint forward, but the creature is already poised to strike with its jaws wide open. Rem conjures an ice block, trapping the whale's mouth shut. The group's strongest members, Duhin, 2 beast children, and a brown dog merchant named Jean, come to their aid. They battle the whale, which hurls Duhin aside. Before plummeting, he delivers one final slash, severing one of its fins. The group continues to run through the fog, shrouded in eerie silence. Unaware of when the whale might strike, they're caught off guard as it swoops down on Duhin. In his final moments, Duhin recalls his red-haired wife and the times they shared in the ruined town. He aspired to be a knight to protect others, including his wife, Thedisha. However, a confrontation with a giant reveals Thedisha as the Holy Sword. Angered by the deception, Duhin swears to claim the sword from her one day. His flashback ends as the white whale swallows him whole, then charges at Subaru. The brown wolf leader shoves Subaru aside, taking the blow himself. The group's mightiest members perish, leaving Subaru terrified. 2 more white whales show up in the sky, as if they've got some kind of body duplication thing going on. Now we've got 3 of these bad boys, and the troops are losing all hope. But Rem and Subaru? They're like, nah, we got this, and keep on fighting. Rem even goes full-on demon mode to take on the whales. Meanwhile, Subaru's got a heart-to-heart with his dragon, telling it that running through the fog is a one-way ticket to Hawaii. Crush can't wrap her head around the idea of 3 white whales existing for centuries and nobody noticing. It's gotta be some kind of trick, right? But they're too busy fending off attacks to figure out what the whale's game plan is. Then, the 2 little beast kiddos show up with a message from their brown wolf leader, who's somehow still alive. And guess who else is still kicking? Mr. Duhin, who pops out of one of the whale's wounds like it's no big deal. That's when Subaru has his lightbulb moment. He tells Crush there's one real white whale, the one flying highest with a missing eye, and 2 fakes that are weaker. Rem's whale wrestling showdown proves this theory. Subaru shares his plan with Crush, and she's on board. First, they need to boost the soldiers' morale. Crush points to Subaru, a weaponless, magic-less guy, saying if he can keep fighting, they can't give up. So, the troops rally and focus on the fake whales. Subaru lures the real white whale to a goat tree, with Rem giving him a boost onto its back. Up close, he's repulsed by the beast and, ticked off at what it did to Rem, leaps down. The whale follows, and Rem chucks a massive ice block at its mouth. She catches Subaru, who lands on a suspiciously comfy pillow. As the whale crashes to the ground, Crush orders the mages to topple the goat tree. The whale is squashed, its insides on display. Mr. Duhin strides over, declaring that their united attack is for his wife. Flashback to the palace, when Duhin won Thedisha. After defeating her, she asked if he liked flowers. He said he did, but she was his favorite. With revenge complete, everyone cheers, and the 400-year-long nightmare is over. Crush thanks Subaru, the battle's MVP, promising to remember his help, even if they end up duking it out for the throne. Later, Crush lets Subaru take Ferris and 20 uninjured folks to crush the witch cult. Duhin volunteers too. Rem's badly hurt, and Ferris thinks she should stay behind, but she won't let Subaru face danger alone. Subaru tells her to stay, saying he's her hero and everything will be fine. Just shut up already! You just rejected her the other day, and now you're flirting? The brown dog leader decides to back Subaru, and their troops are about to show up. Unexpectedly, Julius is part of the group. Subaru's still not a fan, but Julius breaks the ice by asking about Subaru's injuries. Irritated, Subaru brushes it off, saying a good lick would do the trick, way better than writing a self-criticism report. Eventually, they call a truce, and everyone gathers around to hear Subaru's master plan. The witch cult is set to show up in the Roa forest territory. Their mission? Take him out before they make a move. Subaru asks Anastasia for a dragon carriage to get everyone to safety. This time, he's ready for whatever fate has in store. Subaru heads into the forest, using his witchy scent to bait weak cult members into leading him to the witch cult leader, Conti. It's been a while since they last met, and Conti's thrilled to see someone with such a strong scent of favoritism. Conti asks for Subaru's gospel, but Subaru's clueless. Suspicious, Conti shows him a book, calling it a gospel. Subaru lies, saying he used it as toilet paper, which ticks Conti off. Conti goes on the attack with invisible hands, but Subaru dodges, leaving Conti stunned. Cue the Beast Girls, who storm and destroy the witch cult's base. Conti, now bleeding from his eyes and furious, challenges Subaru to a duel to see who's more favored. But Subaru's like, "Sorry, I came prepared," as Duhin appears and cuts Conti in half. The kids start rummaging through Conti's body for loot, weirding Subaru out. One girl finds a gospel book, but upon hearing the word gospel, she tosses it, claiming she needs to wash her hands with soft hand soap to feel clean. The gospel is the witch cult's doctrine, and whoever can read it has the potential to join the cult. Before leaving, Subaru checks if Conti's really dead, not wanting any movie villain resurrection shenanigans. The girl tells him to be decisive and finish the job if he's worried, revealing her ruthless side. "You're just a kid, but so vicious." Other teams have already dealt with some of the witch's fingers, and they're on track to destroy all 10. Suddenly, Subaru feels an invisible hand on his neck and yells for everyone to hit the deck. Some people don't make it in time, and another hand grabs Subaru's leg, yanking him into the forest as everyone watches, puzzled. His captor is a witch who claims to be a Conti clone, meaning there are loads more clones out there. Just as Subaru's about to be pancake-ified, a red spirit swoops in to save him, followed by the lovely sisters. The peeved witch tries to strangle the two kids with the invisible hand, but Mr. Duhin steps in, slicing off the witch's hand and delivering 2 chest blows, sending the wannabe witch back to the afterlife. Subaru gets back to the scene and sees the tragic aftermath. He's kicking himself for bringing everyone here when Mr. Duhin gives him a reality check. If he's got regrets, he should fight until he's a goner. They carry on to Roa's territory to pick up the villagers and Amelia. If they're safe, the troops can focus on battling the witch's cult. Out of the blue, Subaru's engulfed in illusion magic. Ram's watching from a mountain with a mysterious look. Suddenly, a roadside flower grows vines that wrap around Subaru's hand and neck. He tries to yell for help, but everyone's frozen. The little spirit from earlier shows up, torches the flower, and Subaru breaks free to see Julius standing before him. The others are still trapped, and he plans to use his spirit to save them. Turns out, the red spirit belongs to Julius, secretly guarding Subaru. Then, Ram rushes over to pull Subaru away but is stopped by Mr. Duhin. Ram scolds Subaru for betraying their trust and serving another master. Subaru's baffled, thinking he's already killed someone, but remembers writing a letter to explain everything. Turns out, someone swiped the letter and sent a blank one to the mansion, a challenge letter. After much explanation, Ram finally believes Subaru hasn't betrayed them, and they head to the village to evacuate the people. To reassure the villagers, Subaru spins a tale about forest monsters planning to attack, and he's invited kind-hearted folks to fight them, hoping the villagers will leave for a bit. Subaru pleads with the villagers to go, and they're touched by his concern. After handling the villagers, Subaru gets ready to pick up Amelia and Petty, wanting Julius and Ferris to come along to prove he's resolved the issues in the capital. If Crush's subordinate tags along, the evidence will be legit. Suddenly, a burly guy approaches, suspicious of the two hiding his stuff. On the carriage, as Subaru's about to explain, Ferris paralyzes the man, who turns out to be a witch's cult member and a merchant spy. They grill the guy about the cult's plan, but he just grins like he's in a toothpaste commercial before blowing himself up. Subaru wakes up to find the village has turned into a battlefield, but luckily Rams managed to bring the injured and villagers to safety. The cultists snuck into the village, hiding in the cargo and playing dirty. But hey, this is their chance to wipe out Conti's clones, especially since they look too young and out of place for this sketchy group. Old Man Duhin easily defeats one, but before it bites the dust, it self-destructs, injuring Duhin. There's only one clone left, and Subaru decides to lure it into the forest, knowing the witch's scent will attract monsters and turn them into wild dog chow. Amelia shows up in the village to help, looking cool but fashionably late. It's a win for Team Ferris and Subaru, but when Subaru goes to greet Amelia, he bolts with a weird look on his face. Ferris and Julius chase after him. Turns out, Subaru's not himself anymore. He's been possessed by Conti and is in the middle of an epic internal battle. In a moment of clarity, he begs Julius to off him for the greater good, and Julius reluctantly complies. Subaru springs back to life, rewinding to the time when they were plotting with everyone after defeating the white whale. Talk about considerate time travel. If he went back to the Apple store, he'd be miserable. He asks the gang about body-snatching magic, and Julius, ever the star pupil, has the answer. It's forbidden witch cult magic that lets the user live on through backup bodies. So, if they wipe out all of Conti's clones, he's out of options. Their plan now includes sending Duhin to Roa Mansion to let them know the white letter is bogus. Crush wants Amelia and the villagers to head to the capital to dodge the witch cult's attack, and Amelia is touched by Crush's kindness. After getting Amelia and the villagers to safety, Subaru starts rounding up the spy and his cronies. Meanwhile, the Brown Dog Squad leader and Anastasia's troops locate the witch cult's base and take out the cultists. Now, it's just Conti left. Subaru throws him a curveball by asking for a job at his witchy enterprise. Conti's so moved by Subaru's proactive job seeking that he's brought to tears. As they're in the middle of a heartfelt hug, Subaru flips the script and calls the dragon to attack, gutting Conti. Conti's fuming and chases after Subaru to exact revenge, but it's all part of the plan. The lovely Beast sisters show up for backup, and they're freaked out by Conti's bizarre flying and knee-hugging. They've never seen such a gross flying style. Subaru lures Conti to a cliff where Julius, a spirit swordsman, has been waiting since the afternoon. Julius is the bane of the dark demon, so he doesn't hold back on Conti. With a final stab to the heart, Conti's a goner. Archbishop Conti tries to pull off his body-snatching move on Subaru one last time, but Subaru's wise to the trick now. He says he can return from death to make the hand appear, and a girl inside Subaru spots Conti and sends him to another world. Just then, they hear that the mana stones have been stolen. Subaru remembers the exploding carriage and figures the stolen stone might be hidden under it. He chases the carriage, weaving through obstacles and risking it all. Subaru spots a dark shadow tailing him, only to find out it's Conti again. He douses Conti in oil, sets him ablaze, tosses the gospel book at him, and decks him out of the carriage. Amelia's carriage is just ahead, and Subaru leaps onto it like a superhero. Sure enough, the explosive mana stone is stashed under the carriage floor. In a daring move, he grabs the stones, mounts the dragon, and races to a deserted area before hurling them. A massive explosion rocks the entire region. Thanks to his ancestors' protection, our hero survives and finds himself resting his head on a gorgeous lap. They share a conversation straight out of a rom-com. Subaru's courage saves the day, making him a hero in everyone's hearts. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share with your friends. Your support helps our channel grow. See you in the next one.